All right, welcome back to Kicking with Chico. We're out at Carlisle Lake here. Hope you enjoy this view. I thought it might be better looking at the lake and then instead of looking at my ugly mug. Going to start the day today. I'm going to tell you a little story about a CO that I worked with. We'll just call him Cowboy for purposes for this video so we don't make it too personal and we don't get any personal information out there. Now, Cowboy had a lot of time in, not too far from retirement. Seasoned veteran, seasoned officer, had his own rodeo on the side. He just kind of did the CO thing for insurance purposes for him and his family. Cowboy is about 6'4", 6'5", strong as an ox, lean, not mean, but man, you respected him. Inmates feared him, staff feared him. It wasn't because he was an ass. It was just because of the way he carried himself. He granted you respect as long as you respected him and stayed out of his way. You didn't mess with him. And I had the pleasure of working with him several times and enjoyed the hell out of it. Now I'll tell you one story. Working at the work camp with him, this particular time, work camp is set up, there's 2 housing units, and there's 200 inmates per housing unit, so there's 400 inmates total. Each housing unit has 100 on one wing, 100 on another wing, and then 2 officers in the bubble, one watching one side, one watching the other side. At least that's the way it was then. Times have changed. Hell, it used to be 3 officers in there, 1 per wing and 1 in the middle, running the count and everything, but state cuts and everything like that, which New York's going through now. New York COs and correction staff are on strike, which we'll get into that in another video. But back to Cowboy. So we're working on day shift, and we do a count about 1:45, and then movement stops until shift change at 2:45. So we do a count, had an inmate and his buddy, his homie, carry his property box out and slam it on the ground. Old Cowboy puts his Louis L'Amour book down, kind of raises his hat up so you can see his eyes and says, "Partner, you ain't going anywhere till after count. Take that box back in there." No, Cowboy, I ain't going nowhere. This box is going to stay right here, and so am I. I want out of this kitty camp. So Cowboy gave him another opportunity. Now, mind you, these property boxes, guys, sometimes it takes 2 strong guys to lift these up. They are loaded and packed to the gills. Now, some of them are empty. A lot of these guys have a lot of money, buy a lot of shit on commissary, clothes. You got food items in there, shoes, clothes, and everything else. And this sumbitch was heavy. Well, this particular inmate, he wasn't budging. And Cowboy, I guarantee you, wasn't going to budge. But inmate was still giving Cowboy his respect, but Cowboy about had enough and gave him one more warning. Inmate shook his head, "No, Cowboy, I ain't moving. You got to do what you got to do." Well, that's basically famous last words. Cowboy got up, uncoiled himself, all about 6'5", picked that locker box up like it was nothing, kicked open the front door, which was down the hallway, and launched that locker box at least 30, 35, 40 feet out into the muddy yard, which was out there in front of the housing unit. Splat! The inmate just shook his head, knew he'd done lost the battle. He went in, and needless to say, he didn't move until after count was over. So that's just a story about Cowboy. But like I said, the inmates loved Cowboy because he kept a clean housing unit. It was quiet. Everybody respected each other. If you didn't, you were gone. You cleaned up in your area. You weren't a Viking. You showered. If you didn't shower, he was going to have a talk with you. And then it was taken care of one way or another. But that's kind of the way he ran it. And he was, man, he's such a good guy. But anyway, down to the moral of the story here. It was probably 8, 9, 10 years before I retired, so it's been a while ago. On one of Cowboy's off days, Cowboy was out in the country doing what he loved, riding a horse. Cowboy didn't come back. Medical reasons, and I'm not going to disclose any of those here. Cowboy passed away, unfortunately. The news hit us at work, probably within a couple hours of it happening. And within 30 minutes, and it could have been quicker, there were people right below him on the seniority list in the office. "Hey, what did Cowboy have for vacation?" because they knew he had good vacation time scheduled, because that's how you picked every year according to your seniority. So the moral of the story is you're replaceable, man. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. Everybody loved Cowboy. I still love Cowboy, man. I still think about him a lot of times to this day. But in corrections, it doesn't matter who you are. Your friends, your co-workers, your supervisors, all that shit goes out the window, man. You're just a number. Yeah, these are people you work with on a daily basis, and you spend more time with them than your family. But in the corrections grand scheme of things, and this hierarchy, and this machinery that is corrections, you are no more than a number. That's it. Don't think because you got promoted, and not even necessarily a promotion, you're still a CO, but you got picked because you're in the clique, you're in the in crowd, and you got picked to do intel, or you got picked to be on the gang squad, or whatever special little details that the warden, captain, lieutenant dictates. Don't think that you're not replaceable. Don't let that ego and that mental construction, that mental project, that psychological project that you got up there, that, man, I'm better than everybody else. Look at me, I got this shit down. Well, when you fall in the right clique, a lot of times you can get the right gigs in prison. If you don't, you're going to be a dorm bitch, housing unit bitch, like I was. And it is what it is. And again, I blame myself for a lot of that stuff. But political infighting, things like that happen in corrections on a daily basis. And just to let you know, man, don't take that shit to heart. Don't think you're some Superman because you got promoted into intel, or maybe you're the yard 1 officer, or you're the gym officer. You're just a CO, man. You ain't no better than any other CO that's working the shitty details. You just happen to have the good gig. So remember that, and treat others the way you should treat others, the same way that you want to be treated. So don't be a douchebag. Don't be an asshole. All right. God bless you, Cowboy. Love you. Miss you. Thank you for the memories that you made with me, man. Chico out.